Hey babies, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? While I was in the tub tonight, right, I was scrolling through the TikTok streets and I ran across Bubba Gump, right? You know that man who played Bubba Gump in Forrest Gump, right? He has a story, and on my mama, I have the same experience that he had. Y'all, he's telling a story about his friend that was going wrong in life, right? And his friend was doing all kind of crazy stuff. And his friend ended up getting unalive. Now, one day he was sitting at home with his girlfriend and his phone rang. And it said collect call from his friend that was unalive, right? How about the girlfriend? She was all shocked because everybody know he was unalive. And she gave him the phone. And he said while he was on that phone, the man was asking him for help. The man, you could hear that he was being overtaken and overpowered, like something was trying to take him somewhere. He could hear the noises of the beings in the background, and his friend is screaming, frantically saying, help me, and saying, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Y'all, his friend was not a good person. So you know where them little things was taking him, right? For y'all people that want to say this stuff is not real, baby, if you gonna serve God, you better get used to the spiritual realm. If you gonna serve God, you better get used to the invisible. If you gonna serve God, you better learn what the heck you can't see, because what you can't see is what's whooping your butt. But it's a way to see. But you guys to be very, very spiritual. I'm talking about drop this skin suit, come up out of this avatar, because words are alive. But this guy was screaming, help me. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Y'all, let me tell y'all my experience. And I have proof. These people are still alive. They still alive. And I think I wrote about this in my book. You know, I got a book that's going on Amazon. It's called Primordial Knowledge, Getting to Know Consciousness by Latasha Taylor, right? But this, with my experience, my mom passed. And it was a whole bunch of junk going on with my mom. You know, my mama had gave me certain instructions that she wanted done. And you know, when your mama had that talk with you and you the oldest, some of the siblings, they don't agree with the things that your mama told you to do. They ain't gonna believe you, whatnot. But I did what my mama asked me to do. It all boiled down to it. Everybody was pissed off at me for following my mama's last wishes. And what I did with my mom, I cremated her because she told me if I put her in the ground, I was gonna have hell to pay. She did not want to be put in dirt and just live like to just rot, right? We had this talk and my mom died maybe like 6 months after we had this talk. So what I did, well, most people take the ashes and they go spread them out, go take a vacation or whatnot. Well, my mama wanted to go see her dad because her dad died, right? And instead of doing that, we decided, me and my uncle, because my uncle had came from Ohio and my uncle was going back to Ohio, and my mom's dad is from Ohio, and that's where my mom dad was buried. So I was like, why not put her in the, see if we can put her, since she was in an urn, like, can we just put her in there with her dad and let her and her dad be together for eternity? That way she won't be in the ground by herself, and she won't be in the ground like she thought she was going to be in the ground. Like, you know, thinking lovely, but that thing, that loving situation turned out to make me an enemy, right? And I got mistreated real bad for just following my mama wishes. So I was very depressed about how I was being treated. And one day my baby, right, she was eating on a phone that was off. She used to play with this phone all the time. And we were sitting at the table and the phone was sitting in the center of the table. This phone was not on, had not been on for years and years and years and years. So we took the phone from her because she wouldn't stop putting it in her mouth, right? So I woke up and because I heard the phone ring, right? I heard the phone ring. And no, let me back up. Spirit was listening to us while we was at the table. We was talking about the phone. And we was talking about what if the phone just rung all of a sudden. And we were joning each other and everything, like who would do what, who would anybody pick the phone up if it rung for real. And we knew the phone was off, so we was making jokes about the phone. Well, later on that night, little did I know the phone ended up on the nightstand, and I woke up to the phone ringing. The phone actually rung. When I picked the phone up, y'all, it was my mom on the other end. She sounded like she was from a far away place, and she sounded so happy. I thank God I didn't get to experience what Bub Gump did. Y'all, I hate calling him Bub Gump because I don't know his real name, but I'm glad I didn't get to hear that. Like, my mom was in a good place. She was around people that loved her. I could hear the other people saying, let me talk to Tasha. Let me talk to Tasha. I'm like, Mama, where are you? And every time she tried to tell me where she was, y'all, the phone hung up. And when I say every time, I'm saying that because the phone rung 3 times. It hung up 3 times and it rung 3 times. And I kept making the phone hang up because after I talked to her, for some reason, my dumb butt would say, Mama, where you at? And whenever she tried to tell me where she was, the phone would hang up. But anyway, my mama told me how much she loved me, how proud of me she was. She told me she was at her funeral. She enjoyed the funeral, the singing and the dancing, because my mama was the one that brought the entertainment to church. So we gave her a celebration, little concert, dance, everything that she loved about the church. She had it going on. She had a nice little service. But she told me, thank you. And then one thing my mom told me, y'all, was she loved being my mama. She said it was a joy being your mama and it was a pleasure being your mama. Y'all, I've never, ever forgotten that. Okay, another time I was sleeping and I got woke up to my grandfather's voice. My grandfather had a stick that went through his neck. So when he used to talk, he was like, hey, what are you talking about? Don't be nothing. So he had like a weird voice. And he was like, Tasha, Tasha. And y'all, I told y'all my story about my granddaddy. I used to get my butt whooped because we had 13 dogs. And every time that joker called my name, it sounded like the dog was barking. So I didn't never answer him because he was like, Tasha, Tasha. And the dogs was barking at the same time. His voice blended in with theirs. So I used to get my butt knocked out. They used to say I was being smart. I was mistreating my granddaddy. Y'all know the same man that caught me in the closet when I was finna get a whooping and I hid in the closet. And I didn't come out the closet and he went in the bathroom to take a number 59. Ew, and I was stuck in that bathroom. Yeah, that joker right there. He was trying to wake me up from the other side. And when he woke me up, he said, help me. Help me get in, Tasha. They won't let me in. They won't let me in. But they told me that you know how to let me get in, to ask you because you knew the way. Y'all, I was never, ever able to figure out what he was talking about. So the Bubba Gump dude said that the dude said they told him that he could like stop what's happening to him, or he could like get him where he need to go so he wouldn't be going through that stuff. He was like, they told me, and he said, I don't know what he meant by that, but it's always haunted me. Like, what do he mean by I know the way? I know how to get him in. Y'all, I asked myself that same question with my grandfather, because he said, they told me to ask you, and if you can if you say if you can do whatever the heck it was that I can do, he can get in. So he wouldn't leave because he wanted to get in, but I kept telling him I didn't know what he was talking about. That stuff is real. Another time, I went to this metaphysical place because my spirit was drawn to it for over a year. I avoided this place. I told y'all about this story. And my car steering wheel turned by itself, broke through traffic, dang near killed us, and pulled me into that building. And I was scared to walk into that building. But I got my nerves up and I went into that building, y'all. When I reached for the doorknob, the door opened by itself. When I walked in, it was nobody there. I walked around, and all of a sudden, all these old people, all of them looked like they were 200 years old. All of them was Caucasian women, and all of them had different kind of hair. One had hair that was so red, I don't even know what type of red that is. And then it was another lady. Her hair was so white. It looked like a light bulb sat in the center of her head. They had pearly, like wrinkly skin. They looked porcelain. And it was a few of these little ladies. And when I walked in there, they knew my name. They told me about time I came there. They told me how long they had been calling me to the place. They said they had to talk to me and let me know some stuff about myself. And y'all, I have had some stuff happen to me. But beyond this heart transplant, I guess that's why I got the heart transplant, because this type of stuff has always happened to me. Whoever I was in a last life, I'm continuing on my goodness in this life. Like, I ain't no jacked up person. For real, I'm not. And it seems like I know what I'm doing, even though I have no clue of what I'm doing. I always do what I need to do when I'm supposed to do it. It's a trip. But y'all, there was one lady, she looked like she was 300 and some or 400 some years old. I told this story before. And she would come to me and she would say, how long? How long? Could you ask them how long I got to wait before I could leave? And I would always say, Mama, why you asking me? And she would say exactly what the Forrest Gump dude said, that his friend told him. They said, you know the way. Just like my granddaddy told me, they said, you know the way. And she told me, you know the way. You know who to talk to. She said, could you go ask them, when can I leave? She said, there's nothing else for me here to do. I'm so sick of being here. It's nothing else to do. I'm ready to go. Could you ask them how long? So the daughter looked like she was about 200 some years old. Said, don't worry about my mama. Don't pay her no mind. I said, no, she good. I got a good feeling from her. And this lady, y'all, the whole time, because it was a metaphysical place, I started going to this place all the time. I didn't have no choice but to come to this place, because they was answering all the questions that I ever had in my life, and they could tell me about myself. And to know that you love our God, to know, from people who you ain't never seen before, get it right, and they know what you've been struggling with spiritually. No man could have had that conversation with me. So I was going to the place. I was getting trained at the place. I was getting taught at the place. How y'all think I'm getting so smart? Y'all think I'm smart like this, J. Cole? Mysterious, mystical people have been along my path and along my journey and have schooled me. But this lady followed me around the entire time I went. She always held my hand the whole time I was there. Wherever I sat, she sat next to me. And she would always tell me that I had the most beautifulest aura that she has ever seen. And she said the colors that was sticking out the most was the purple and the golds. And she said the gold represented double life. The gold represented new life, extra life. Like she knew I had another person's energy by however that gold looked around my aura. So I have truly been blessed. But she told me to ask them people how long before she could leave the earth because she was ready to go. So one night, I asked, I just, for some reason inside myself, before I went to sleep, I asked, like, she want to know how long. Could y'all give me an answer? Because she not going to leave me alone. She's doing this every day. And months had done went by, y'all. That junk will be beyond creepy. You'll put it in the refrigerator. Thank you, baby.
Well, I got a call out the house camera.
Okay. But that junk was beyond creepy, y'all. But I dealt with it because that place was an answer to all my questions, right? Do you know something came to me and told me to tell her not much longer, very soon. And I went and I told her, do you know she was happy that she was about to leave this earth? I think that lady really had been here like 400 years. I've never seen no people that look like these people. And y'all, all of the people now are gone except one. And that was the old lady's daughter who looked like she like 200 some years old. Y'all, when I tell y'all this lady teach exercise, this lady has a metaphysical shop that is nice to go to. This lady is clairvoyant. This boy, you need your crystals, all this stuff. It's called the ITC, International Truth Center. It's in Marietta, Georgia, or maybe Austell, Georgia. It's the same thing, just like right next to each other. But man, you talking about wisdom. I had to go to this place to get wise, y'all. I had to go to this place to grow and to stop running from myself. This place helped me go on and just settle into what I am and who I am and whatever that is. I have no idea, but I'm sure enjoying this life and I'm sure enjoying the stuff that I'm discovering. But to run up on that and see that somebody else got a phone call from the other side, y'all. A phone call. And y'all seen my video of when I go in the hospital, my mama who called me on that phone from the other side come to that hospital and she sit with me until I'm there and up until I leave, and she interacts with me. Y'all go find that video about visitation from my mom from the other realm and watch how she responds to me by cutting the water on it out. I asked her something, she answered me by cutting the water on it out. Y'all talk, because you never know who have had an experience just like you. They keeping us divided because if we mess around and talk and find out that we got more in common with each other, that we are more alike than we know, and that we come from the same source, we all just screwed up with all this different information from all these different walks of life. But when it all boils down to it, talk. Have spiritual conversations. Stop talking about celebrities and who sleeping with who and who exposing who. Have some spiritual conversation. and see how much you grow.